Social contracts continue to be broken. The latest one in France as they try to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. People aren't having it. And the through line with all these social contracts, which will be broken, that's 100% guarantee, whether Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, doesn't matter what country, uh, government's overpromised. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is the citizens turned to the government to assist them, right? We can't handle our own retirement. So what we want to do is hand money to these uncorruptible bureaucrats who are the greatest people alive, who never overspend and never misallocate resources. We want to send our money to them and have them run our retirement. So I've said this over and over again, but if these people look at choices like, well, we have two choices: raise the retirement age in France from 62 to 64 or not do it. Those aren't the choices you have. It's raise the retirement age from 62 to 64 or the program goes away. It moonlights. Same thing with Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. That's how it works, folks, because they overpromise, they underdeliver, they misallocate resources. It will always be that way until the people go, hey, you know who's better at allocating these resources for my family? Me and my community. Me and my family, me and my church, whatever that is, you are better at allocating resources. It is the law of human nature. You spend other people's money differently than you spend your own. That's just the way it is. So let's check in on how France is doing. There's a lot of protests. Let's just say that. We'll check in on how they're taking this new retirement age. Oh, please, good, good. This seems like fun. Yeah, so as you can see, they're having tons of fun. Um, you saw on the screen there, 71% of people disapprove of the reform. Again, those aren't the choices you have. It goes away at moonlights because it will have an expiration date because it is all math. But the real question is, why do you guys trust the government to do this for you? Why don't you do it yourself? Um, we've abdicated so much responsibility. And here's the catch: you saw those police going in to the protesters. They're in the same boat, folks. Not just on retirement age, but their pension, their police pension. Do you think that's going to stick around? No. Okay. So these people, it hasn't affected me yet. So I'm going to enforce what the state is doing, but it's the state that's the problem. It's the state. It's that we ask the state to do our bidding for us, and they fail as they always do. One thing is interesting. We demonize in Western culture. We often demonize the rich, which is whatever. You can think they're greedy, what have you. But why don't you think the same thing about politicians? You think these people that take money, trillions of dollars, don't misallocate resources, aren't greedy somehow? They're pure as the driven snow. And the difference between that corporation and the government is who has a monopoly on violence, who can force you to do it. It's the government. It's not the corporation, it's the government. And then what's even worse is they work hand in hand a lot of times. Corporations realize that the government has monopoly on power, so they work with the government to form monopolies. And we, the people, don't prescribe or diagnose the problem correctly. We say, hey, you lied to us. You said you were going to give us retirement at 62 and now you're changing it. You said you were going to give us Social Security and we paid into it our whole lives. Yeah, that's the problem. Don't trust the government to do that for you. That is the problem. It's not that they're changing it, it's that the math doesn't work now. And the math never worked and things change. So how about we take that part of our lives back from the government? New York Times did a did a story on this as well. Hold on one second. I will share that with you. 1 second. So, like I said, France, the majority of people are not too fond of this, but they're given really not the correct choices, which is raise or don't raise. Or sorry, yeah, raise the age or don't raise the age. Just raise the age, or this program goes away over time. So one of the French business owners said, "I can't afford to be out there for even 5 hours," said Mr. Clausier, who helped run La Boursière de blah blah blah. I speak French, bilingual. I can read minds. And pays what he says high payroll tax used to fund France's social safety net. So what ticks these people off is they pay into the system expecting a result, and the result isn't what they were expecting or what they were told. So their whole lives, does this ring a bell? Social Security, their whole lives have been told this is what you'll get, and the government misallocates resources, spends money on things maybe they don't agree with, and whoops, we got to change some things. He says, "I'm with them in spirit because what we are seeing is the unraveling of France's social contract. We can't let that happen." Yeah, it's happening, dude. Unfortunately, it's happening because those again aren't the choices you make. Unravel the social contract or keep it. The social contract is broken. The parameters have changed. There is no more money. They have to print, right? So I'm assuming this gentleman doesn't want inflation either. So Mr. Macron, who made the changes in the pension system a cornerstone of his re-election campaign last year, argues that a strong mandate in France's complex but generous state-backed retirement plan will run out of money if nothing is done. That I agree with him on. But again, probably what I would disagree with him on is, hey, the state shouldn't be involved in this. Okay, literally, like people act like it's not their money. They paid into the system. So what if you had invested that money, or what if you had spent money? And essentially, it's the state saying, I don't trust you to run your own life. I don't trust you to prepare for the future. And then it conditions people to not prepare for the future because they think the state's going to do it for them. How's that work out? Ever. It doesn't. The only way to fix it, Mr. Macron says, is to make the French work longer. He's right. Opponents, including the United Front of the Labor Union, say Mr. Macron is attacking cherished right to retire and unfairly burdening blue-collar workers because the refusal to increase taxes on the wealthy. Neither side has shown signs of backing down. So the side opposing Macron, not only were there protests, but there were they shut down energy plants. So all these unions who work public transportation. So the city is not running efficiently. So they're flexing their might. But I if anybody who's there is actually listening to this, you cannot solve the math, right? So if you get what you want, and Macron's like, my bad, we won't raise the age. How do they pay for it? Somewhat of a rhetorical question, but they can't. So these people say maybe you can raise taxes on the rich. That's not how it works. Number one, the rich can leave. And number two, I guarantee you that raising taxes on the rich won't be effective because number one, they will make less money. Their desire to make that amount of money will go down. Number one, and number two, it probably won't even make a dent. This is probably a multi-billion-dollar price tag to lower that age. But you're gonna see more of this, folks. People don't react well to it, but they're not giving it the correct diagnosis, in my opinion. The diagnosis they should give is get the state out of it completely. We have to have a system where it slowly is moonlight, like we don't have it anymore. I don't think you should turn it off overnight, but slowly but surely it should go away because it doesn't work and it never will. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See y'all in the next one. Peace.